Coach, you guys have seen Arizona twice. What dimension does Taylor Hall add to the mix?
He's a skilled player, plays with speed, gives them another weapon in their offense. So I haven't watched a lot of them yet. We'll do that this afternoon, but just gives them another guy that can score.
Yes, I do. I've tried to give this away. I gotta get my spot. I just haven't. No, I can't ask it.
All right.
The bye week it allows for a break. It wasn't always there. It's still relatively new. The flip side is maybe a more condensed schedule at other times of the year. Like, is it worth it to have a week where just everybody's gone?
I think if you ask the players, they like it. So it's a break just to get away for a little bit. When they first came out, I didn't like it at all because it was a break that was supposed to give the players a break, but then we came out of the break, and I remember the first time in Arizona, we had 5 days off. We couldn't practice till 4 o'clock on the 5th day, and then went in and played back-to-back. And that's just, if it's about preventing injuries for players, that's enticing injuries. Have guys away from it for 5 days and then jump into a back-to-back. So the way they've got it structured now, we have 3 days to practice before we play our first game, coming out of it. I'm all right with it now. Everybody, and the other thing they've done, they've balanced it out where the teams you're playing have the break also, so there's no advantage or disadvantage coming out of it. So I'm all right with the break. It condenses other things. That is what it is. You deal with it like any other schedule. But having it better thought out is we're in a better place with it.
Dave, I just wanted to ask you a little bit what you think of how tight the playoff race is already in the Pacific Division and how much movement there can be, sometimes on a nightly basis.
I think it's great. I think it's unbelievable where every game is, like you look at the standings, every game you're anxious to get in because you want to get points. We sat here kind of not done anything for 2 days and all of a sudden we went from second to fifth. It's... But I love that we've got ourselves in a position where we're playing these games that really are meaningful every night. Because it makes you play your best every night, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Dave, the record in the new year has been very good. What have you liked most about the way the team has played so far in January?
I think we balanced things out a little more. We came out of the break. We had 3 good days of practice. We tweaked a couple things, some situational stuff, how we wanted to try to improve. And I think, it was the halfway mark, and you got a new coaching staff per se. You got, I'm getting to know the players. They're getting to know me. We're trying to figure out how is the best way for our team to play. And you continue to evolve. And we had a tough December. Schedule was tough. We didn't play as well as we'd like, so we came out of it with a real mindset that we have to get ourselves back in the game here. And there's been lots of good practice. There's been good conversation with the players about how we're going to move this forward. And I give the players the credit. They're the guys that have to go out on the ice and do it, and they found ways to win some games here. So it's got ourselves right in the race, which that's where we want to be.
After a couple of years off from coaching, and you mentioned halfway through this season, is there anything that you've kind of, learned or found different for yourself this season?
Well, coming to a new situation, you learn about the players you have, and a couple of years out of the league, I still followed the league pretty close, so it wasn't as if I was coming in with didn't know what to expect or anything. But there really is a factor of getting to know the players you have, and what it is you get to know the players as people, but also what they can do, what's their strengths, how do they best contribute to what you're trying to do. So you can't. That's something that just doesn't happen overnight. You got to work away at that, and as we go through the year, you get to know players better, put them in situations where you think they can be the best for you.
Can you discuss your time in Phoenix and living there as well, and how you view that team right now and where they're at?
Well, you look at them right now, they're a skilled team. They've built some skill into their lineup. I always thought we were a very hard-working team, but kind of lacked some of the offensive talent that to get us to the next level. We had great goaltending for years. We had, some real good veteran teams when the team when the team was going through some financial struggles, we had some real veterans that held that whole thing together down there. Shane Doan being at the forefront of that. But now they've come out of it. They've got new ownership. They've got a young team that's skilled, and they're playing very well.
And when you look at, like when we came into this season, you talked a lot about how your team was tired of missing the playoffs and yada, yada, yada. Do you see that same thing with that Phoenix team?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I lived it for a long time where they were in a constant rebuild for a while. Now they're out of the rebuild and they're looking to challenge for a playoff spot. And no different when any team that hasn't made the playoffs, you're trying to get back in it. And just before you came in here, that's what I said. I love that our team's right in the mix right now. We're playing real meaningful games every night, and it makes it fun. Makes it fun to play, makes it fun to coach.
And with the current situation, are you? Do you want to share what? I mean, you're in the middle of a run of 5 or 6 games against, 2 against Calgary, 2 against these guys, 1 against the Stanley Cup champions.
That's great, isn't it?
Well, it is, other than that big 9-game hole in the middle of. How do you deal with that?
No, I think it's great. I think we're going to find out a lot about our team. We've got one before the break. We're really focusing on this one, but then you come out of the break and really meaningful games, and you find out a lot about your team and our commitment to try to push this thing into a playoff spot. So I love where we're at. I love where we're at right now, and I hate sitting around for 2 days and watch everybody else go ahead in the standings. Right? We got to get back in the game here.